Today marks 3 years since the death of Breonna Taylor at the hands of Louisville police. Taylor was shot and killed inside her apartment on March 13, 2020, during what's been called a botched no-knock warrant. While several former LMPD officers have been charged for their actions leading up to and on the night of Breonna Taylor's death, some say justice still needs to be served. Taylor Woods joining me now in the studio with more on this. And Taylor, this weekend, we did see a number of people taking to the streets voicing their concerns about Breonna Taylor's death.
Yeah, Grace, a crowd of people marched from the Russell neighborhood to downtown, spreading one unified message that the work isn't done. Now let's go back to March 13, 2020. That's the day 26-year-old Breonna Taylor was killed while LMPD officers executed a no-knock warrant at her apartment. Police were there investigating her ex-boyfriend. No drugs were ever found in her home. That set off a number of protests with people pushing for accountability. In the summer of 2020, Louisville Metro Council passed Breonna's Law. This officially banned no-knock warrants for LMPD. It also required body cameras be turned on before and after every search conducted by Louisville police. Though some changes have been made, during Saturday's walk, Breonna's aunt expressed how necessary it is to continue to fight for justice.
You know, it's not a time to be silent. If we want any change, what we've been out here advocating for equal rights, equal opportunity, transparency, the time is now. You know, due to lack of leadership here in Louisville.
And Breonna's family and community says they'll continue to march until further actions towards change have been made. Now, several officers have been charged for their actions leading up to, during, and following Breonna Taylor's death. And we'll take a closer look at where their cases stand in the next half hour. Grace.
Taylor, thank you. This comes, of course, just days after the release of a scathing Department of Justice report revealing unconstitutional policing practices and civil rights violations by LMPD and Metro government. Listed in the report was the conclusion Metro police unlawfully execute search warrants without knocking and announcing their presence. There were also examples of excessive force, unlawful searches and arrests, discrimination against Black people, and violations of the rights of people engaged in protected speech that's critical of policing. Last week, we spoke to Breonna Taylor's mother, Tamika Palmer, emotional about the DOJ's findings.
I don't even know what to think, to know that this thing should have never happened and that it took 3 years for anybody else to say that it shouldn't have.
HAS 11's Isaiah Kim Martinez also sat down with Attorney General Daniel Cameron, who's been widely criticized for how he handled the investigation into Taylor's death. We asked him if he has any regrets about his office's investigation, knowing what he knows now.
And I'm proud of the work that our office did on this case. I understand completely the heartbreak around it, but it's important that we don't conflate what the Department of Justice did with what our office did in terms of reviewing what happened that night at Breonna Taylor's apartment.
When pushed further on that, Cameron said his office was handling only the facts of the night in question, while the DOJ was looking into a broader scope of the department's actions. We've been following this case closely for the past 3 years, and we'll continue to dig for the facts as it goes on. Everything you need to know, from a timeline to officers being charged, and the full Department of Justice report is available now at WHAS11.com.